Every single morning you open your eyes, you're stepping into a mental battlefield, whether you realize it or not. The world doesn't wait for you to wake up gently. The world hits you with noise, pressure, expectations, comparisons, and distractions before you even take your first breath out of bed. And most people lose the battle before they even stand up. Not because they're weak, not because they're broken, but because they never learned how to control the one thing that shapes every second of their life, their psyche. Your mind is the engine behind every decision, every emotion, every reaction, every dream, every mistake, every breakthrough. If you don't command it, something else will. Your past will command it. Your fear will command it. The world will command it. But when you take control of your psyche, when you grab the steering wheel of your own inner world, you become unstoppable. Think about how many days you lived on autopilot, waking up with no intention, walking around with thoughts that weren't even yours, letting worry move into your mind like it pays rent. Think about how many times your emotions hijacked your potential. Think about how many opportunities slipped through your fingers just because your mind whispered, not today. The truth is, your life has never been controlled by circumstances. It's been controlled by the psychology you operate from. The difference between people who rise and people who break isn't luck. It's the patterns they feed their mind the moment they open their eyes. It's the inner dialogue they choose. It's the energy they build before the world tries to drain it. Your psyche is either your prison or your freedom. And every morning you decide which one you will live in. And if you want to hold your audience, your tribe, your people all the way until the very last second of this message, they need to understand something powerful. Whatever they are facing right now, whatever they are afraid of, whatever is weighing down their chest, it's not the situation that's defeating them. It's the mindset they carry into it. You don't need a new life to win. You need a new lens. You need a new internal language. You need a mind that doesn't fold when life applies pressure. You need a psyche trained to see possibility where others see problems. Because the moment you shift your inner world, your outer world has no choice but to follow. Your thoughts influence your actions influence your patterns influence your identity, and your identity influences your destiny. That is why today, right here, right now, we're not just talking about motivation. We're not just talking about discipline. We're talking about rewiring your mind from the inside out. We're talking about breaking the old mental habits that have kept you small. We're talking about becoming mentally unshakable. Stay with me until the last second of this video, and I promise you this. By the time we're done, you won't just think differently, you'll feel differently, you'll move differently, you'll move differently. You'll carry yourself like someone who finally understands the power living inside their own mind. And once you unlock that power, nobody, not fear, not doubt, not your past, will ever be able to take it from you. Gratitude isn't just a nice feeling you get after something good happens. It's a mindset. It's a discipline. It's a way of training your brain to stop living in fear, pressure, and scarcity and start operating from a place of strength. When you wake up in the morning, before you grab your phone, before you think about your problem, before you remember what you have to do, you get to choose the lens through which you see your life. That first lens determines the whole day. Most people wake up already defeated. They open their eyes and the first thing they feel is stress, regret, guilt, anxiety, or pressure. They wake up thinking about what they don't have yet, what they didn't achieve, who they're not, what went wrong yesterday. They instantly put themselves into a mental prison, and then they wonder why the whole day feels heavy. Gratitude is the way out of that prison. When you start your day with gratitude, you shift your entire mindset from scarcity to abundance. You stop telling yourself the story that you are behind, broken, or lacking. Instead, you remind yourself that you survived things other people didn't survive. You remind yourself that you still have time, strength, and breath. You remind yourself that today is a gift, not a burden. Gratitude doesn't erase your problems, but it gives you the power to face them with a stronger mind. It makes you mentally rich. It makes you emotionally stable. It makes you spiritually grounded. And when your inner world changes, your outer world starts to move differently. Think about it. When you focus on what you don't have, you feel weak. You feel small. You feel like your life is slipping out of your hands. Scarcity makes you desperate, jealous, insecure, and frustrated. You start comparing your life to others. You start doubting your progress. You start believing that you're not enough. But gratitude does the opposite. It reminds you that you already have something to build from. You already have something to work with. You already have something to protect. Gratitude turns your attention to your strengths, not your failures. You begin to notice the things that are working for you, the people who support you, the opportunities ahead, the skills you've built, the growth you've earned, the lessons you've learned. When you live in gratitude, your perspective changes. Small blessings suddenly feel meaningful. Challenges feel manageable. Delays don't feel like punishments. They feel like preparation. You become less reactive, less emotional, less impulsive. You become more stable, more confident, more grounded. Gratitude gives you emotional maturity. Instead of panicking because life isn't perfect, you start appreciating the process. You start understanding that even the struggles, even the heartbreaks, even the disappointments were shaping you. Gratitude helps you see the bigger picture. Most people think abundance is about money, success, cars, houses, and status. It's not. Abundance is a mindset where you genuinely believe that what you have today is enough to start with. You don't wait until you're rich to be grateful. You become grateful now, and that gratitude helps you build the life you want. Gratitude turns your energy from complaining to creating. It turns your focus from excuses to execution. It turns your fear into fuel. There are people who wake up every day with more money, more success, more comfort, and still feel empty. Why? Because abundance isn't about what you own, it's about how you think. Real abundance is waking up and saying, I'm thankful for my breath, my body, my mind. I'm thankful for another shot at life. I'm thankful that I get to choose who I become today. That mindset alone can take an average person and transform them into someone unstoppable. Gratitude also makes you more aware. You stop rushing past the small victories. You start acknowledging the growth you've already made. You start celebrating the fact that you're still standing after everything you've been through. And when you recognize that you're still here, still fighting, still growing, that alone gives you power. Gratitude builds confidence because it reminds you of your own strength. Without gratitude, you fall into the spiral of a not enough time, not enough money, not enough support, not enough talent, not enough progress. That mindset poisons you. It paralyzes you. It convinces you that no matter how hard you try, you will never get ahead. But gratitude shifts the narrative. It tells you, I have enough to begin. I have enough to rise. I have enough to take the next step. And that simple shift in belief changes everything. When you wake up grateful, your decisions improve. Your attitude improves. Your discipline improves. You treat people better. You treat yourself better. You start to feel alive instead of stuck. Gratitude gives you clarity. It cuts through the noise of your insecurities and reminds you of what truly matters. And when you remember what truly matters, distractions lose their power, negativity loses its grip, and fear loses its voice. The truth is, gratitude is not weakness, it's strength. It's armor. It's a weapon. You can't fake it, you can't force it, and you can't buy it. You cultivate it, you practice it, you train it. And the more you practice it, the more powerful you become. Because once your mind learns to see abundance instead of lack, you become immune to the negativity that destroys most people. You stop letting every little inconvenience ruin your mood. You stop letting people's opinions drain your energy. You stop letting setbacks convince you that you're not capable. Gratitude builds resilience. It builds patience. It builds determination. It turns your morning into a moment of power instead of a moment of panic. When you begin the day appreciating what you have, the rest of the day becomes a reflection of that energy. You show up differently. You speak differently. You act differently. You carry yourself with confidence because you know you are not starting from zero. You are starting from a place of strength. This is why starting your day with gratitude is not just a habit, it's a transformation. It rewires your brain for success, abundance, and peace. It prepares you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to take on the challenges ahead. It keeps you grounded in humility while pushing you to chase greatness. Gratitude is the foundation of a powerful life. And when you begin your morning with it, you set the tone for everything that follows. Most people start their mornings on autopilot. They wake up and immediately fall into the same old routines, the same old thoughts, the same old emotions that kept them stuck the day before. They don't realize that the first moments of their morning are the most powerful tools they have to design their entire day. Your mind is the most sensitive and most programmable right when you wake up. Whatever you feed, it becomes the blueprint for your actions, your choices, your discipline, and your energy for the next 12 to 16 hours. This is why being intentional in the morning is not optional. It's essential. It determines whether you walk into the world as the creator of your life or as a reactor to everything around you. When you take charge of your morning, you take charge of your life. The moment your feet hit the ground, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, they're either steering you forward or pulling you back into the same patterns that have been holding you down. Most people rush into their day without taking a single moment to ask themselves who they want to be today, what they want to accomplish, or how they want to show up. They let stress decide for them. They let fear decide. They let bad habits decide. They let the world decide. And then they wonder why their life feels chaotic, unproductive, and overwhelming. Intentional mornings create intentional lives. When you wake up with purpose, the world responds to you differently. You start moving differently, thinking differently, and acting differently, and acting differently. Your energy becomes focused instead of scattered. Your decisions become clear instead of emotional. Your actions become aligned instead of random. You stop drifting. You stop reacting. You start leading yourself with conviction. Being intentional doesn't mean your morning needs to be perfect or complicated. It simply means you start the day with conscious awareness. Instead of waking up and immediately grabbing your phone, scrolling, comparing, reacting, and stressing, you pause, you breathe, you check in with yourself. You remind yourself who you are, what you're working toward, and how you're going to carry yourself today. It's that simple, but that powerful. Because the biggest battle you'll ever face is the battle between who you were yesterday and who you're trying to become today. If you start your morning without intention, the old version of you wins every time. That version of you that snoozes the alarm, that procrastinates, that makes excuses, that settles for comfort, it takes control again. It takes over your decisions. It takes over your mindset. It takes over your day. And once it takes over your day, it takes over your life. But when you wake up with intention, you interrupt that cycle. You take your power back. You remind the old you that you're not going backward anymore. You're not living on default. You're not letting life choose for you. You're choosing your path. You're choosing your reactions. You're choosing your priorities. You're choosing your growth. That's what intentional mornings do. They give you ownership over your life. When you start your day with a moment of clarity, the entire day becomes more manageable. You're not running behind. You're not overwhelmed. You're not lost. You know what matters. You know what you need to do. You know what you must protect your energy from. You know how to move. This clarity saves you from wasting time, wasting energy, and wasting opportunities. And let's be honest, most people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they're distracted. They fail because they're unfocused. They fail because they allow one negative thought in the morning to poison their whole day. They fail because they wake up and start reacting instead of leading. But when you take control of those first moments, you disarm the negativity before it even begins. You set a tone that says, I'm in control today, not my fears, not my distractions, not my old habits. Intentional mornings also set your emotional state. Your emotions dictate your actions. If you wake up overwhelmed, you'll move slow. If you wake up anxious, you'll make rush decisions. If you wake up tired, you'll settle for shortcuts. But if you wake up with intention, gratitude, focus, discipline, clarity, the rest of the day follows that emotional frequency. It's like tuning your mind to the right frequency before you step into the world. If you tune it to strength, that's what you'll notice. That's what you'll attract. And that's how you'll respond. You can't expect to have a powerful day if you start with a powerless morning. You can't expect to build a disciplined life if you start your day without discipline. You can't expect to create success if the first thing you do is consume instead of create. That's why intentional mornings matter. They train your mind to show up like someone who is serious about their future. Think of your morning as a reset button. Every day you wake up, you get a fresh chance to rewrite your story. You get a chance to let go of yesterday's mistakes, yesterday's failures, yesterday's disappointments. But if you start your day unconsciously, you drag all of yesterday into today like dead weight. You don't give yourself the space to grow. But when you wake up with intention, you leave that weight behind. You focus on who you're becoming instead of who you were. Intentional mornings also build discipline, not because you're forcing yourself to do a long list of tasks, but because you're training your mind to obey your future, not your feelings. Not your feelings. When you choose to wake up with purpose, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, you're teaching your mind that your goals matter more than your comfort. Slowly, you stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop letting your mood dictate your movement. You stop breaking promises to yourself. Your morning becomes a declaration of who you are. When you wake up and choose discipline, your mind respects you more. Your body respects you more. You start to trust yourself. You start to believe in yourself. And this self-trust becomes the foundation of everything you build. Being intentional also shifts your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's trying and start seeing yourself as someone who's becoming. You start aligning your actions with the future version of yourself you keep dreaming about. You begin behaving like the person you want to become long before you get there. And that alignment is what creates transformation. A powerful day begins with a powerful morning. And a powerful morning begins with intention, not chaos, not scrolling, not reacting, just a moment of grounding, clarity, gratitude, and purpose. A moment where you tell yourself, today I will lead. Today I will grow. Today I will build. Today I will show up. That's how you create momentum. That's how you take control. That's how you change your life. One intentional morning at a time. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a discipline, a mindset, a way of seeing the world that changes the way you move through every struggle, every challenge, and every moment of doubt. Most people misunderstand gratitude. They think it's something you express only when life feels good, when things fall into place, when the path is smooth. But real gratitude is forged in the uncomfortable moments, in the storms, in the chaos, in the days when nothing seems to go your way. Real gratitude is not passive. It's active. It's something you practice when it's hardest, because that's when it has the most power. And when you learn to start your day with gratitude, consistently, intentionally, unapologetically, you begin to transform not just your morning, but your entire identity. The third keynote is about elevating your emotional frequency by choosing gratitude first, no matter how heavy life feels. Because the truth is, your mind cannot live in fear and gratitude at the same time. It cannot stay anxious and grateful at the same time. It cannot stay negative and grateful at the same time. Gratitude is one of the few emotional states strong enough to override almost any mental pattern. When you choose it first thing in the morning, you are literally rewiring your brain to look for what's strong instead of what's wrong. You are training your mind to see possibilities where it used to see problems, to see progress where it used to see pressure, to see growth where it used to see pain. The reason most people stay stuck in their old cycles is because they wake up carrying stress, resentment, frustration, and disappointment from yesterday. They roll out of bed already defeated. They open their eyes already overwhelmed. They start the day with the weight of problems they haven't even faced yet. But gratitude cuts through that weight like a blade. It forces your mind to shift. It makes you pause. It makes you breathe. It makes you acknowledge that even in the middle of your struggle, you still have something to fight for, something to protect, something to build, something to appreciate. When you start your day with gratitude, you don't just lighten the emotional load, you shift your entire internal state. Gratitude is not pretending your problems don't exist. It's reminding yourself that your problems don't control you. It's reminding yourself that you've survived worse, overcome harder, climb higher. It's remembering that you have resources, strengths, lessons, and abilities that you didn't have years ago. Gratitude brings awareness to everything you've gained. Everything you've learned, everything you've endured. It puts perspective where panic used to be. And perspective is the foundation of resilience. When you choose gratitude every morning, you create stability in your mind. You ground yourself in something deeper than stress, deeper than chaos, deeper than fear. You create a mental anchor that keeps you centered even when life tries to pull you off balance. Without that anchor, your emotions run wild, your thoughts scatter, and your focus breaks. But gratitude holds you still long enough to recognize that you're stronger than your circumstances, strong enough to rebuild, strong enough to rise, strong enough to keep going. And here's the truth most people never realize. Gratitude makes you more powerful because it makes you more aware. When you stop to appreciate what you have, you begin to see opportunities you used to overlook. You start noticing small wins that build momentum. You start seeing support, lessons, progress, and answers that were always there, but your stress blinded you from seeing them. Gratitude sharpens your vision. It allows you to move through life with intention instead of panic, with clarity instead of confusion. People who lack gratitude chase everything but appreciate nothing. They keep running after the next big thing, the next achievement, the next breakthrough, thinking it will finally bring them peace. But without gratitude, nothing satisfies. Nothing feels enough. Success feels empty. Progress feels slow. Life feels unfair. Gratitude gives meaning to your effort. It gives joy to your progress. It gives depth to your growth. It turns pressure into purpose and setbacks into stepping stones. But the real transformation happens when you stop waiting for reasons to be grateful and start generating gratitude on your own. That's maturity. That's emotional strength. That's growth. When life hits you hard, when things go wrong, when you feel tired, drained, or discouraged, choosing gratitude becomes the ultimate act of resilience. It's you telling life, you can throw whatever you want at me, but you will not break me. I will find something to appreciate, something to learn, something to grow from. I will turn this pain into fuel. Imagine waking up and, before touching your phone, before thinking about stress, you simply list 3 things you are genuinely grateful for. Not generic, not forced, real things. The air in your lungs, the strength that kept you alive, the lessons that shaped you, the people who believe in you, the chances you still have, the goals you still get to chase, the simple fact that you woke up with another opportunity to rewrite your life. You do that consistently, and your mind starts operating differently. You become harder to shake, harder to discourage, harder to break. Gratitude builds emotional armor. Negativity bounces off you. Stress doesn't drown you. Fear doesn't freeze you. Because your mind is no longer focused on everything that's missing. It's locked in on everything that's possible. Starting your day with gratitude also increases your discipline. People think discipline comes from pushing hard, grinding nonstop, forcing yourself through struggle. But real discipline comes from having a reason to show up, a reason to keep going, a reason to give your best. Gratitude reminds you of your why. It reconnects you to your purpose. When you're thankful for what you have, you treat it better. You respect your time, your opportunities, your abilities, your life. You don't waste your day because you recognize the value of the day you were given. Gratitude also makes you more patient with your journey. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're too focused on appreciating where you are and where you're heading. You stop rushing the process because you start valuing the growth happening inside you. You stop doubting yourself because you start noticing how far you've come. Gratitude removes the toxic pressure to be perfect and replaces it with the strength to keep progressing. And most importantly, gratitude shifts you into abundance mode. When you start your day appreciating what you have, life gives you more to appreciate. Your energy becomes magnetic. You attract better people, better opportunities, better habits, better thoughts, better outcomes. Gratitude is not just emotional, it's transformational. It opens doors you didn't even know existed. When you start your day with gratitude, you start your day with power. You step into the world grounded, centered, focused, and uplifted. You become someone who can handle pressure, navigate challenges, and stay aligned with your purpose. You become someone who grows, who adapts, who endures. You become someone who doesn't just survive life, you shape it. Gratitude is strength. Gratitude is clarity. Gratitude is resilience. And when you build your mornings around it, you build a life grounded in purpose, power, and peace. Gratitude is the anchor that holds your entire life together. And when you close this message, I want you to feel something awaken inside you. Something steady, unshakable, something that reminds you that life is still worth fighting for. Because gratitude doesn't make you soft. It doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful. It gives you perspective. It gives you strength. It gives you clarity in a world that is constantly trying to distract you, overwhelm you, and pull you away from what really matters. When you start your day with gratitude, you shift from survival mode to growth mode. You stop counting what you lost and start recognizing what you still have left to win with. You stop waking up to chaos and start waking up to purpose. And when you live like that, when you live with a mind that opens with appreciation instead of frustration, your entire day, your entire attitude, your entire energy changes. Because gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a weapon, it is spiritual armor. It protects your focus from negativity. It protects your spirit from comparison. It protects your heart from bitterness. Every time you say a thank you, even when life is heavy, even when you're tired, even when things aren't perfect, you're telling the world, I'm still here. I'm still blessed. I'm still fighting. Gratitude is the reminder that you have survived every single day you once thought would break you. It's the reminder that even when everything went wrong, something still went right. It's the reminder that you don't need a million things to be grateful for. You just need one to start with. One breath, one chance, one moment, one dream, one reason to keep going. And the more you notice, the more you receive, the more you appreciate, the more you attract. Gratitude opens doors that negativity keeps locked. So as this message comes to an end, I need you to make a decision. From tomorrow morning, you don't wake up complaining. You don't wake up rushing. You don't wake up angry at the world. You wake up with awareness. You wake up with purpose. You wake up with purpose. You wake up with gratitude. You sit up in your bed. You place your feet on the ground. And before you check your phone, before you check your messages, before you get pulled into the world's noise, you say, thank you. You remind yourself that you have another shot, another day, another opportunity to become a better version of yourself. You remind yourself that someone didn't wake up today, but you did. And that alone is enough reason to try again, push again, and grow again. Start your day with gratitude and watch how your life begins to shift from the inside out. Watch how your energy changes. Watch how your mindset sharpens. Watch how your blessings expand. Because gratitude is not the end of your day. It is the beginning of your breakthrough.